What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we're going to be jumping into the Joker, part of the Infinite Frontier line, issue number 3. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you caught up on the last 2 issues, and everything that's been going on, and this really awesome line that they really should be calling Jim Gordon, because that's what this line is about. This is about Jim Gordon doing his best to try to hunt down the Joker. Now, this issue also has a secondary issue, which is Punchline, so be sure you stay through all the way to the end, because we're going to be covering that as well. Also, be sure to check out the channel a little bit later on today. We're going to have some Wonder Woman, Batman Urban Legends, Justice League, and some more. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright, Legion, so as we jump into issue number 3, it jumps us into Jim Gordon's mind. A memory of the night at Amusement Mile, when the Joker put him on display, humiliated him, shamed him, had him butt naked with a collar around his neck. While Jim Gordon may be ashamed to admit it, there are still nights where all of this comes back to him. He can feel the leather collar around his neck. He can feel the wind on his naked body. He can feel the panic going into his chest. Now, this is all Joker's attempt to make Jim Gordon go mad, to try to break him, to show that one bad day can really ruin the best of men. It can break the best of men, to include individuals like Jim Gordon. And we know the Joker. This is just the Joker trying to hurt Batman in any way he can. But this was a battle for Jim Gordon, because he wasn't sure if he was going mad. The situation seemed absolutely otherworldly. Any sane person would have some kind of mental break due to this, if not temporary, permanently. The feeling of not having control, not able to do anything. You are in complete control by a madman. And Jim Gordon, he thinks to himself, you know, in the beginning, no one ever took him serious. No one took the Joker seriously. Gordon actually believed that he was more of a distraction than anything else. And it actually bothered him that Batman focused so much on individuals like that, because they didn't recognize the threat. They were focused on organized crime. They were focused on corruption in the government. They weren't worried about some silly guy in a clown suit trying to seek attention. But after that night at Amusement Mile, Jim Gordon, he never questioned it again. He never wondered why. He understood that the true threat that somebody like the Joker holds against society. You know, the Joker, he had his agenda that night. And that's the thing, he may be psychopathic, he may be completely nuts, but he had a plan. And that plan was to break Jim Gordon. Prove to Batman that one bad day can truly take one good man, one sane individual, and make them insane. But in ways he failed. Because Jim, he really believes that Joker wanted him to be a shriveled, scared man after that. But he pulled himself back together. He showed Batman that he wouldn't break. He showed the Joker he wouldn't break. And most of all, he showed himself how far he can go and still pull himself back together. Because at the end of the day, his family needed him to be that rock. But nonetheless, every time he closed his eyes, he remembered that night. And he remembers the Joker. Now, this is what picks us up at the airport. And he's at the airport because he's meeting up with Cressida. Now, we've seen her in the previous issues. She's been working and is part of the Court of Owls. And they have hired Jim Gordon to hunt down the Joker. They want him to answer for the gassing of Arkham Asylum. And Jim Gordon, he accepts this by showing up here at the airport, ready to go to Belize. This kind of shows that he's ready to do exactly what they want. And what they want is for him to kill the Joker. And she kind of fills him in on the details, gives him all the information that they currently have on where his location could be and where he might be. They give him a credit card with literally an unlimited spending amount on it. And even tell him, you know, you should go Go use the money. Go stay in a really nice hotel. Buy yourself some new clothes. Like, really make yourself comfortable, because we want you to be comfortable. As long as you get the job done, as long as you do what is absolutely necessary, we don't care how much money you spend. Now, this is where we see Oracle, because Oracle, she's keeping track on Jim the entire time. They had a discussion, and Jim Gordon swore to her that he would not kill the Joker without her okay. Now, little does she know, he absolutely plans on doing this regardless of what she has to say about it. But this is her attempt of kind of trying to stop him. And she has Cassandra and Steph helping her out. You know, kind of just placing trackers where they need to go, on the plane, on cars, finding out exactly who these individuals are. The ones that hired Jim Gordon. Because right now they have no clue who she is. They just know she's somebody with enormous wealth. Now, as Jim Gordon flies over the ocean, he's sitting here going through all of the notes. And the dialogue here, it's really amazing. You know, Jim Gordon, he's talking about how you would regularly profile a serial killer. How they have patterns, how they have purpose. Whether it be love or hate, it's usually one of the two. And while you can't necessarily shortcut anything, there are statistics. Statistics that say, you know, usually a husband is the one that murders a wife or something of that nature. You know, but these serial killers, they're easy to understand. Because their thought process, it's not that complicated. They either hate something so much that they want to kill it, or they love it so much that they want to kill it. But there is always exceptions to these rules. Exceptions like the Joker. Because the Joker, he kills like it's a punctuation. As if it accents and defines who he very is at the core being of himself. It's his way of communicating to people that he needs to be taken seriously regardless of the clown outfit and how ridiculous he may act. You know, every time he kills, it's deliberate. It's not out of some kind of psychopathic rage. It's a choice. It has purpose. You know, this doesn't come from some kind of bloodlust. And it's all part of some kind of performance. And that's the issue. When Joker goes into hiding, when there is nobody left around to watch him kill people, to make a statement, he's not killing anybody, which means there isn't much of a trail to find. But one thing he does know is eventually he's gonna slip up. Eventually he will kill somebody, because that compulsion to kill again, it always sits in the back of the mind. The thrill of being a criminal is seductive, it's addictive. They just can't help themselves. But that's not necessarily the Joker. Not to the fullest extent anyway. And so Jim Gordon, he goes to do his investigation. He lands in Belize, and he goes with his first gut feeling. You know, there's tons of resorts that he could be going to. And if he has been at any of these resorts, the performance didn't end because he had a crowd, because he had attention of people. And if there were people around, he needed to play his part, which means somewhere out there, he's testing the limits of how much these resorts can truly cover up. And it also means that if this is the case, if he is here, that means people in Belize, there's going to be missing individuals with no signs of where they went. Now, the powerful, they can cover this up. They have the money to keep it hush-hush, but they hide it from other powerful people. The thing that they always let slip is the locals, the individuals that change their sheets, that serve them food. Now, while none of these individuals, none of them would necessarily go out of their way and try to dime them out, because they knew that would get them killed instantly. But if you become drinking buddies with these individuals, if you buy them some rounds, you get to know them, you may start to hear some rumors. And that's exactly what Jim Gordon does here. He starts drinking with some locals here, and he starts hearing rumors. Rumors of a place that people don't talk about, a scary place where people have died, and it's like saying Voldemort. You know, even local authorities, they don't even talk about this place. Now, there's a million possible answers to why that might be the case. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Joker is here. But Jim Gordon, he decides, you know, he's going to continue on this path. He's going to see where this lead may bring him. You know, he's going to continue to follow these leads. He's sure that it's going to lead him to dead end after dead end, and eventually it will lead him to where he needs to go. That's police work. That's how you investigate. That's how you find somebody. And that's what brings him to this house, this mansion of a house. And he knocks on the door. Knocking on the door, someone comes to answer. That somebody being none other than the Joker himself. And Jim is absolutely thrown off. He's completely in shock. And he does his best to grab his pistol as fast as possible. Like, he did not expect to find the Joker this fast. He didn't expect it to be this easy. But the thing is, he can't just shoot the Joker here. The Joker, he has a bunch of armed guards with him, and their weapons are pointed straight at Jim Gordon. And the Joker tells him, like, here's your chance. Either you shoot me right now, or you put that gun away. And Jim, reluctantly, he has to bow out here. He lost this fight. But the Joker lets him know. He lets Jim know that he showed up just in time. Now Jim, he has no idea what he's talking about. But the Joker fills him in and tells him, I don't know if you're aware of it, but a few weeks ago, somebody gassed Arkham Asylum. And everybody's saying it's me, and while I would love to take credit for it, I didn't actually do that. Somebody else is doing this, and they're framing me for it. Now the problem with that is now a whole bunch of people are trying to kill me. And this is where we see in the woodline the new Bane. And Joker continues to tell him that he's just in time for the fun, because his men in the woodlines, they just got taken out. And Bane and her men, they're making their way to the house. And the Joker tells him, you better keep your guns out, because it's about to get frosty. Now that's where that part ends, and this is where we pick up with our Punchline story. Now this story, it picks us up with Bluebird and Aiden. Now Bluebird, she's trying to do some investigation into who Punchline actually is, to find out her past, where she came from, and it may help her kind of take her down, or at the very least figure her out, because right now she's in prison, so she doesn't necessarily need taking down right this instant. And so Bluebird, she's here investigating Punchline's old apartment with her ex-boyfriend Aiden. And really, she's just learning all she can about her. How she used to be obsessed with serial killers of all types. They even got black market therapy sessions of the Joker. They just became infatuated with it, which isn't necessarily unheard of, especially in our culture today. We have umpteen million podcasts that are crime and murder podcasts that talk explicitly about these things. Now, as they're going through and discussing all of this stuff, Aiden, he's a little bit worried. He's a little bit worried because he helped her acquire a lot of this stuff, and so he's afraid he's going to be implicated in whatever she does. And so he wants to burn this whole place down, get rid of all the evidence so there is nothing to show. And this is when we're taken to Blackgate Penitentiary, and we see Orca talking to the Queen of Spades. Now the Queen of Spades, she brought Orca in from the outside to beat the crap out of Punchline, because Punchline's been kind of running things, been kind of disrespecting the crap out of Queen of Spades, and the Queen of Spades, she's tired of it. She's done with it, so they brought in the big guns to handle the situation. And that's exactly what we see about to happen. Orca makes her way to Punchline, and without hesitation, this fight, it kicks off. It kicks off right away with Orca just smashing the crap out of Punchline. And this fight, it gets underway. In the most brutal of fashions, we see a mirror, shards of glass going everywhere, and Punchline doing her best to use it as a weapon. But at the end of the day, this is freaking Orca we're talking about. And Orca, she grabs a sink, and in the next panel, we see Punchline knock the hell out, bleeding, and in Orca's arms. And so, Punchline, she's good. She really is good, but she is not good enough to go against Orca, and she just found out why. She is learning some new limitations here. Now that's what picks us back up with Aiden and Bluebird. And as they're sitting here going through all of this stuff, going through old high school books and so on and so forth, he's telling her how they made hit lists and things of that nature, and he just never thought they would go through with it. And as Bluebird's sitting here going through one of the books, she gets a mist in her face. This mist, it makes her feel dizzy. And this is where Aiden kind of reveals his plan here. Reveals that while, not necessarily he has the same kill count as Punchline does, he's still as psychotic as she is. He's still a killer. He loves her, and he thinks that this is going to make her proud, because what he's about to do is kill Bluebird by burning this entire place down with her inside of it. Because while Punchline may have got a really high kill count. Aiden is going to be the first one to kill a superhero. And that will be where this issue ends. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. For the Joker story, I am thoroughly enjoying it. It has been a super deep, super emotional story about Jim Gordon and him dealing with his PTSD, dealing with his trauma and everything that the Joker has put him and his family through. The weight that he carries around every single day, the nightmares he sees when he closes his eyes. This is a man that is in tremendous pain and believes that the only possible way of ending this, of ending it all, is to finally take care of the Joker once and for all. Do what is absolutely necessary to stop his reign of terror. And as for the Punchline story, I'm enjoying it. I really do wish it would get its own full issue. It really does deserve it. Because this, 5, 6, 7 pages here and there, it's just not doing enough justice to really give us a girthy, in-depth story that you can get hooked into. Now, with that being said, I do think that it's actually pretty good. I think the story has great potential, and I really do want them to explore Punchline a lot more. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell because I got tons of more content coming out later today as well as tomorrow when we're covering all of our Marvel stuff. And with that being said, until the next breakdown.